Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. President Uhuru Kenyatta has made his choice. The president is going to support Raila Odinga for the presidency in 2022. And there is nothing you can do about it. And there are two questions which most Kenyans have been asking. The first question is, why is President Uhuru Kenyatta keen on supporting Raila Odinga and not his deputy in August election? Because we all know that the president actually promised publicly to support his deputy. But what changed? That's one question which most Kenyans have been asking, and nobody is giving a clear answer. We are waiting for President Uhuru Kenyatta to spill beans the way he had promised. The second question which most Kenyans have been asking, especially those who are allied to, those who have been supporting Raila Odinga, is whether President Uhuru Kenyatta's support for Raila Odinga is boosting his bid for the presidency, or whether it's not. So in this video today, I want us to look at why Uhuru is keen on Raila Odinga. But before we do that, if you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue to thank you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Now, let us begin this video by trying to understand why I strongly believe that Raila Odinga is going to benefit from President Uhuru Kenyatta's support. Number one, Uhuru Kenyatta is the president of the Republic of Kenya. And by virtue of being the president of the Republic of Kenya, it means he commands the state machinery. That's number one. Raila Odinga has never become the president because of lack of state machinery. In 2007, for example, Raila Odinga won clearly, but he could not be declared the president because he didn't have the state machinery. Number two, Uhuru Kenyatta as an individual is very wealthy and very influential, which means he can easily influence votes using his resources. If he decides the way he has decided that he's not going to support his deputy, and there's nothing you can do about it, he can decide to spend all his coins on Raila Odinga's campaign. Number three, Uhuru Kenyatta, having run KANU, having managed TNA, has those structures. So Raila Odinga is going to inherit them. But there is also some disadvantage of Uhuru Kenyatta supporting Raila Odinga. Let me just be very brief. The first disadvantage is that Jubilee government is perceived to have failed. And because of the handshake, Raila Odinga is today carrying those burden, the burden of Jubilee failures. And whenever you see, like if you watched Ruto Mudavadi rally in Nakuru, Mudavadi would talk of failures of Jubilee government. Then Ruto would talk of the success. So when you talk of failures of Jubilee government, the person who is carrying that burden is basically none other than Raila Odinga. Number two, there is this project tag that Raila Odinga is now a project of Uhuru Kenyatta. It's going to be very difficult for Raila Odinga to shed that tag, despite the fact that this is a man who has contested for the presidency almost 5 times. In Africa, there are very rare instances where a sitting president has always supported an opposition leader. I think in Liberia, where Johnson supported George Weah, but very rare. So that project tag will linger. Number three is Raila Odinga reform credentials. Because of the handshake and because Uhuru has been in government, Raila Odinga has been supporting, sitting governments always have a way of dealing with people in a way that is not really sometimes constitutional. So Raila Odinga's reform credentials is being put to questions. And lastly is the betrayal factor. Raila Odinga entered into an agreement with the NASA co-principals. These are the people Uhuru wanted to use to make Raila president. And because of that betrayal, it's been very difficult. Uhuru Kenyatta has been really frustrated in trying to bring them together. The mere fact that Musalia Mudavadi and Wetangula left, do you know why they left? Because they felt Uhuru wanted Raila, but for them, Raila betrayed them. But that's not the main objective of this video. In this video today, I want us to look at why Uhuru Kenyatta is keen on supporting Raila Amolo Odinga for the presidency. I want to be very brief. Number one, why he wants Raila to be the president is that Raila Odinga is going to be a Mandela's moment in this country. A transitional president. A transitional president means that if Uhuru Kenyatta had certain intentions of arranging his succession politics, but the maths was not adding up, Raila Odinga is going to be made the president, then within that 5 years, Uhuru and whoever, or we call it the system, shall have figured out who should be the next president of the Republic of Kenya. And because Raila Odinga is going to be a transitional president, he will be easily managed. Yesterday I was talking to some friends from Nyanza here, and they were asking me, Lee, now that it's like the Kikuyu tycoons have taken control of Raila Odinga's campaign, will there be a chance for the Luos? You know, the fears are already there. The truth of the matter is that those business tycoons are actually working under instructions of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Without President Uhuru Kenyatta's express instructions, they can't do that. So Raila Odinga will run maybe 5 years. After that, these guys will be able to figure out, should he continue or should we bring someone else on board? That's why Uhuru is supporting him, because Uhuru worked with Ruto. And the other day he said he's not mad not to support his deputy. So it means there are things he knows about the deputy president. And because William Ruto's chances of becoming the president are so high, the only person who can stop him is Raila Odinga. It means the president has no option than to allow Raila Odinga, make Raila Odinga the president, transitional president. Then he can figure out within the next 5 years who should actually take over. So that's number one. Number two is President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy. Uhuru Kenyatta worked with the deputy president in the first term very closely. In fact, William Ruto was the guy running the government. But the truth of the matter is that these guys fell out. They fell out in the first term, not even the second term, the way most people want you to believe. And after falling out in the first term, William Ruto started poking holes on President Uhuru Kenyatta's performance. But Uhuru Kenyatta has been focused on trying to achieve some of those things. Let me take you, for example. When Ruto goes to the coastal region, he criticizes the SGR. When he's in Kiambu, he tells people how it is him and Uhuru who brought SGR, and therefore he can be trusted. So if you're Uhuru Kenyatta, how would you feel that your deputy is criticizing and appreciating your project at the same time, just to suit him politically? So I think Uhuru Kenyatta believes that the only person now who can secure his legacy of unity, united country, his legacy of projects like the port of Kisumu, the improvements in Mombasa, you know, the Dongo Kundu, the SGR, you know, is only none other than Raila Amolo Odinga, and not the deputy president who is criticizing. So because of that, he must support Raila Amolo Odinga. Number three is the unity of the country. Uhuru stated he's not mad. And I want to believe that when they worked with William Ruto, there's a trait which Uhuru Kenyatta observed, that Ruto is divisive and Ruto is abusive. That's someone you cannot leave the country in his hands. So when he went for the handshake, the president wanted to bring Raila and his supporters, Jubilee and their supporters together. And I think originally his intention might not have been to lock up the deputy president. But because of William Ruto's nature, he had to push Uhuru Kenyatta. In fact, at some point, it was even suggested that he wanted to impeach the president. But the truth of the matter is that Uhuru Kenyatta believes that unity of the country is something he can leave for the country. So that, like now, Uhuru can easily go to any part of the country, have a drink. Uhuru can go to the other day we saw Uhuru Kenyatta going to Mbita without Raila and addressing people there. He's been to Mombasa, he's been to Kakamega, places Uhuru Kenyatta could not go to before. So the unity is what he believes in. And he believes that by Raila Odinga becoming the next president of the Republic of Kenya, he can easily unite this country. Number 4 is the historical settling of the historical debts. You know, the Kenyattas and the Odingas, they have their debts. Those are the founding fathers. I remember a governor once said that if your father had never fought for independence, watch Uhuru na Ruto na Raila will fix the country. So the truth of the matter is that there are historical debts which has created bad blood between these guys. So those historical debts is what Uhuru is keen on fixing. The other reason why Raila must be the president and Uhuru is going to do everything possible is business interest. Let me ask you a question. How wealthy do you think is William Ruto? Ruto is a multi-billionaire. In fact, I was reading some article that William Ruto could even be richer than the Kenyattas. But how long has William Ruto been in government? A very short period of time. And what are some of his known businesses? Amako dead. Which other one? So how did he make his money? Through tenderpreneuring with the government. I remember when all these things began, there were those NTSA vehicles which were chasing people like madmen on the roads. That those vehicles were actually hired from William Ruto. So he created a strategy, came up with a proposal, and you know, government was now hiring vehicles every single day, everywhere across the country. And the money was going to his account. The last mile project, where they were putting meters, poles, to even houses which were not worth electricity. Houses which were, if it were in an organized society, the priority would have been to construct those houses using those money before thinking of electricity. Because of course, basic needs are food, shelter, and clothing, not electricity. William Ruto is alleged to have, when he was the deputy president, even ventured into energy sector, where cartels are, real cartels, and he tried to kick everybody out. For example, he tried to kill Raila Odinga's business. The Spectra, not Spectra, the one for gas cylinders. What's the name? I think Spectra. By introducing his own gas cylinders. It is alleged that at Kenya Power, he became the main supplier of electricity poles. So Uhuru Kenyatta was observing, and he was just a deputy president. The question is, if he becomes the president, what will happen? Because of that, Uhuru, I think, has made his mind he's not going to support his deputy. And lastly, and this is also one of the reasons why Uhuru will not allow Ruto to become the president, is the betrayal between these two guys. Who betrayed who? Between Ruto and Raila. That's a question. Who betrayed who? Is it Raila who betrayed Ruto, or is it Ruto who betrayed Raila? Simple question. And if Ruto betrayed Uhuru, or Uhuru betrayed Ruto, let's take for example that Ruto is fine, Uhuru betrayed him, and the kind of humiliation Ruto has gone through, if he's given the presidency, how do you think he will deal with President Uhuru Kenyatta, his allies, his businesses? Or do you think we'll just forgive, forget, start clapping and celebrating the president as someone who move the country from point A to point B? And how can he convince Uhuru Kenyatta that if I take the presidency, nothing will happen to you? At some point, I heard him talk about pardoning Raila, pardoning Ruto, because people were like, Ruto is very vengeful. Now, because of those reasons, Uhuru is not going to hand over power to William Ruto. He's going to try everything to stop him through first round win. But the deputy president is also not sleeping. And that's one thing I love with the DP. Already he's managed to win the support of Musalia Mudavadi and Weta. So one Kenya Alliance movement the president had hoped on is now split. Then there is Kalonzo, the other side. Will Kalonzo stick or will he also leave? Swala nyeti. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day. Bye bye.